Hey y'all! Welcome back to How to Stay Organized in College. I'm Samantha, the ACC specialist from Student Life at the ACC Northridge campus. And these are a couple tips that I have for you guys today on how to stay organized. So the first tip I have for you guys is to use sticky notes. You can use sticky notes for reminders of any sort, and they help you stay on track because it's a nice pop of color. Also makes you smile a little bit, and it kind of helps you keep an eye on those tasks. So for example, what I like to do is I like to put sticky notes on my computer screen to remind me of things. So for example, I've got one on here that says take a break. So make sure that when I'm studying, if I'm overwhelmed or my head hurts or something like that, I always got to remind myself to take a break. Because sometimes I get so wrapped up in my studies that it's nice to have a little reminder here that's on my screen. Another thing you can put on your sticky notes is to check your to-do list. You might get wrapped up in your current study or in maybe video chat with your classmates, anything like that, and you might forget to check your task list so you can keep yourself on time and manage your time well. That's something I like to put on there also. And sometimes it's also good to put sticky notes around your house or around your workspace. Not too many so you don't get overwhelmed, but sticky notes with good positive messages. So for example, I got one on here, it says, "You got this." So sometimes you just need a nice little encouraging reminder that it's okay, that you got this. I know studying can be hard, colleges can be very hard, and you just want to make sure that you encourage yourself along the way. I know we don't have our interaction with our peers like we usually do in-person classes. It's always nice to hear those positive reminders. And one thing for me personally that I put is on here is focus. So a lot of times I can get distracted very easily. And it does help me to have a sticky note on my computer right there that reminds me that I need to focus to make sure I'm reaching my goals. You don't have to put them on your computer. You can put them around your workspace. Just make sure you keep it organized and it doesn't become too overwhelming. Another thing that you can use sticky notes for is to remind you to finish assignments. So for example, I have my biology worksheet right here. And what I did is I used a blue sticky note to make sure I differentiated between the two. So as close as I could find to green. And I put to finish my worksheet whenever my professor emails me back. So I wrote that on here because I had a question about the worksheet and I emailed my professor, and until he answers my question, I can't proceed with my worksheet. So I went ahead and put a sticky note on so I can address it later. That way I can get the answer and proceed. What I like to do with my sticky notes, I like to put them just on the edge of my page. Kind of like that, sticking out either of the side or off the top. That way, if I put them in a pile and I put other stuff on top of it, they'll be sticking out on the side. And I'll be like, oh, what's that blue paper sticking out? So it'll be a good way for me to go back and check it. So I like to do that. The second tip I have for you guys today is to form a study group, if you can, of course. Some classes do involve a lot of group work, and it's good to get a study group together, not only to help cope with the situation that we have going on right now, but it's good to interact with the classmates. You know, they might have some advice for you, different study tips on how to study or stay organized as well, and it might help you get through your classes a little bit more, answer some questions that you might have about the material. Now with study groups, in my experience, I've advised to not go above 6 people, just because it can be a little overwhelming and then it becomes more of a social hour rather than a study group. So maybe 6 or less would be good. And always make sure you schedule a day and a time that works best for everyone in the group. That way everyone can benefit from it. You can use chat, you can use phone calls, or you can use a video chat. Any of those work well. And especially now that we have the options for so many different communication methods. Forming a study group can help you guys keep each other accountable, and it will help you guys kind of get through your class more productively because you can keep each other accountable for deadlines and assignments since you guys are in the same class. And then the last tip I got for you guys today is to turn off all distractions. So I know when you're trying to stay organized and study for your classes, it can be a little bit distracting to have your TV, your computer, your phone, your iPad, any form of technology or distraction around you to keep you from studying and getting to where you need to be. So whenever you're studying, especially when you're at home in your online classes, try to turn off as much of distractions as you can. We do need our computers to do our online courses, of course, so that's what we need. But try to not wander too much on YouTube. Try to turn off your smartphone. If possible, you can leave on another table, another room. Make sure that it's not distracting you through maybe social media or maybe checking emails or text messages, stuff like that. So you'll get a lot more accomplished in a shorter amount of time if you turn off your distractions, and that way you can actually focus on your studies. So what helps me with this is that I imagine that I'm back in my classes on campus when I'm in person, and my professor tells me silence your phones, turn them off, put your computers away. In this case, we need our computers. But they will tell us things like that so we can focus on the lecture and the course that's being taught and the material rather than focusing on our phone and our social media, etc., etc. So phone calls, messages, emails, stuff like that can wait. You just want to make sure that you're focusing on your studies and you're getting the most out of your education. And that's all I got for you guys today. So hopefully these organizational tips have helped you guys on how to stay organized in college. And we want to get you one step closer to getting that diploma. So take care, y'all, and you'll have a good day.